So I just saw a video on Instagram of this Chinese kindergarten class. You guys have probably seen those. They go around Instagram. It's really incredible what these children are capable of. And I remember seeing a cooking class. They cook all their own meals. They're little chefs and they're only in kindergarten. So a lot to say about that. Why do we underestimate children here in America? They're capable of so much more.
You want me to take your iPad away?
No!
Okay, well, it's time for bed.
No! Not going to bed!
Come
No!
on. Come on.
No! I'm not ready to go to bed.
Come on, I gave you an extra hour.
I said, no, it's not time for bed. Chill out. It's 9 o'clock.
We're iPad parents. If you try to give us some kind of advice and you don't have kids...
I don't have kids, but I get to work with yours. And let me fucking tell you, I know exactly which students in my classroom have an iPad at home and which ones don't. Your child may be able to sing the ABCs and recite it perfectly, or count to 10 or 20 or more than that, but do they have fine motor skills? Are they able to use a pincer grasp in day-to-day tasks?
Chinese kindergarten.
Y'all want to know why China outperforms the United States on all academic metrics across the board, including math, language, and science? Then go and watch this original video. I have said it before and I will say it again. Movement is an integral part of early childhood education and one that will determine your child's academic, social, emotional, and cognitive skills in the future.
This is so wild. Chinese kindergarten students outpacing their American counterparts because of activities like math and music and language. Look at that. The 4-year-olds are mastering multiplication tables, learning Mandarin, English, and sometimes a third language.
Hey, besties. Have you ever seen a Chinese kindergartner tie their own shoes, cook dumplings, fold laundry, and write Mandarin characters, while an American kindergartner is still glued to an iPad watching Ms. Rachel or screaming for more Cocomelon? No shade, but we need to talk. Today we're diving into something that's both fascinating and heartbreaking: the massive developmental gap between Chinese kindergartners and what the internet now calls iPad kids in the US. And listen, this isn't just about tablets. It's about a culture of dependence versus a culture of independence. It's about a future generation that either knows how to function in the world or doesn't. So buckle up, besties. We're going deep into how China is raising capable, focused, and skilled children, while America might be raising overstimulated, emotionally delayed, and dependent kids, all thanks to glowing screens and a broken system. Let's get into it.
So I just saw a video on Instagram of this Chinese kindergarten class. You guys have probably seen those. They go around Instagram. It's really incredible what these children are capable of. And I remember seeing a cooking class. They cook all their own meals. They're little chefs and they're only in kindergarten. So a lot to say about that. Why do we underestimate children here in America? They're capable of so much more. But this one was an art class, and each kid, of course, doing this incredible art project. But I noticed each kid was doing a different art project, completely different. And it struck me, this is really teaching kids how to stay focused on their own task despite what everyone else is doing, and to not follow the crowd. So it's actually teaching individualism. It's teaching focus on your own task at hand. Don't just do what everyone else is doing. Even if someone's doing something different, have your own unique vision and follow that. And that is such a huge key to success. And, normally in classrooms, everyone does the same thing. It's much easier for the teacher, someone commented, which I totally understand, but I don't think people are realizing this, but subconsciously, that's actually teaching kids to follow the crowd and do what everyone else is doing. And it's even stated in class, get help from your partner. And that it also teaches togetherness and working together. But the reality in life, that's really, again, preparing you for the work world. It's not teaching entrepreneurism. It's not teaching having your own unique vision. And I thought that was interesting because this is a Chinese school. This is a Chinese kindergarten class. In China is a communist country, so they don't really, being an individual and thinking for yourself is considered more an American ideal. But I don't know. I think we can learn a lot from these Chinese kindergarten classes. And clearly, like, a lot of their kids, I mean, they grow up to be very successful, very skilled. There's something to be said about how they teach their kids in China, honestly. I mean, I don't agree with everything, obviously, like changing the Bible and things like that, but I just thought that was interesting. I wish I could stitch the video on here. I don't know if it's on here, but it was on Instagram, but I just wanted to share.
We're iPad parents. If you try to give us some kind of advice and you don't have kids,
I don't have kids, but I get to work with yours. And let me fucking tell you, I know exactly which students in my classroom have an iPad at home and which ones don't. Your child may be able to sing the ABCs and recite it perfectly, or count to 10 or 20 or more than that, but do they have fine motor skills? Are they able to use a pincer grasp in day-to-day tasks? Not to mention, more than often, children who have unlimited screen time at home have behavioral issues in the classroom that you don't see at home because there's more students and less attention on them in a classroom environment than there is at home. I'm all for using iPads at the grocery store, on a car drive, but there is no need for your child to be on an iPad every single day. Do you not want children? Is that not the whole point? Why are you giving them an iPad instead of interacting with them?
Let's start with the basics. The term iPad kid exploded on social media to describe children, mostly in the US, who are constantly glued to screens. We're talking about toddlers with their own tablets who can navigate YouTube better than they can speak in full sentences. And while technology can offer learning opportunities, what's actually happening is more disturbing than educational. Studies have shown that excessive screen time in early childhood is linked to delayed speech, shorter attention spans, difficulty regulating emotions, and even reduced empathy. These children often struggle with basic tasks like sharing, sitting still, or making eye contact. And it's not their fault. It's the system, the parenting culture, and frankly, the convenience of handing a child a screen instead of engaging them in real-life learning. Meanwhile, their Chinese counterparts? They're outside gardening. They're washing their hands properly, folding blankets, learning poems, and working together. It's like one group is getting a real-world education, and the other is stuck in a loop of overstimulation and digital sedation.
I just saw this video. I couldn't stitch it because I think it got deleted, but it was like this woman saying, we're iPad parents. If you don't have children, you don't have the right to give us advice, or something like that. Let me tell you something. I work with literal infants starting at 3 months to 3 years old. And I'm not like a childcare provider. I've worked in childcare before, but I am now in research, working with typically developing infants and children. And let me tell you, every single time an iPad kid comes in, us, the researchers, we know. It doesn't take very long to tell. There is a big difference between babies who are exposed to screens 24/7 and babies who are not, and you can tell within like the first 10 minutes of meeting a baby. At one point, we give the parent an iPad, and if the baby cannot have that iPad, all hell breaks loose. It is like the end of the world. Like, I've seen babies who are 8-10 months old who have zero interest in like actual baby toys, but like freak out when they see the iPad. And it's really concerning. Personally, I think your method of parenting is flawed if there's a lot of research showing that it is flawed and that people can tell like that if your child has screen time or not.
I've been seeing a lot of teachers on here talk about how they can tell in their classrooms who the iPad kids are because they're inattentive, they have a lot of problems with focusing. And I just want to take it one step further and tell you that that's not only going to be a problem with attention later in life, but also personality as a whole. You're going to raise an apathetic child if you are a chronic iPad kid. And that's because in developmental psychology and cognitive neuroscience, we have this term called theory of mind. And that's a developmental necessity when you're a child that allows you to understand how you interact with your environment and how it interacts back with you. If you're stuck in front of an iPad for your whole adolescence, there is no way that you are going to develop your place in the world and your interactions with other people, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. And at the end of the day, if you don't develop it, it leads to different psychiatric disorders and also just a complete lack of empathy.
Chinese kindergarten.
Y'all want to know why China outperforms the United States on all academic metrics across the board, including math, language, and science? Then go and watch this original video. I have said it before and I will say it again. Movement is an integral part of early childhood education and one that will determine your child's academic, social, emotional, and cognitive skills in the future. Like Maria Montessori, the Chinese have figured out that children are kinesthetic learners and that movement is tied to brain development in very important ways. Meanwhile, the United States is still sitting at desks doing the same thing at the same time and requiring small children to be still for hours and hours on end. Then we ask ourselves, why is my child struggling with this particular skill set? Why is my class misbehaving? Why are these children presenting certain behavior problems? And the answer is they're not free to move. Unlike the traditional education model, the Montessori environment allows for free choice and free movement. In fact, the majority of Montessori materials were designed with the goal of movement incorporated into their design. I'm no expert, but it's almost like Maria Montessori knew what she was talking about.
Chinese kindergartens are structured with military-level precision, but in a good way. A day in the life of a 4-year-old in Hangzhou or Shanghai includes group morning exercises, chores, creative arts, language classes, math, and even light physical training. You won't see tablets. You won't see distracted kids with blue light headaches. You'll see children engaging with the world. The curriculum focuses heavily on self-reliance. Kids are taught to wash their own cups, brush their teeth, and clean up after meals. They're not babied, they're empowered. Teachers foster a deep sense of community and cooperation, helping kids develop emotional maturity at a young age. Compare this to the US, where kindergartens are underfunded, often overcrowded, and heavily reliant on screens to entertain kids. A shocking number of American preschool classrooms now include screen time as a reward, not realizing that it's not a reward. It's a shortcut with long-term consequences.
Did you see the Chinese kinder getting super famous?
Chinese kindergarten.
Wow. Oh, I can't even do that. Wow, that little girl's so good. Oh no, I can't even do that either. Wow. Very well choreographed. Oh, they're so cute. Wow. I'm just shocked. I'm like, how can you do all that?
This is Chinese kindergarten.
Look at all those kids. Wow, they're super creative. Wow, those are cute. They can probably sell those. Okay, they're selling. Look at
Chinese kindergarten cooking class.
Now they're cooking. Making cookies, even the little boys. Wow, that looks so. They are good. So what do you think?
Honestly, in 100 years, I think we're going to become the third world country. Like, I literally think Canada and North America, we are going to become the third world country. The education system in China is honestly unlike anything that I've ever seen. These are kids in kindergarten. They're sewing. Look at what they're doing. Like, it is honestly unbelievable. This is an account that I just started following, and it completely blew my mind. Literally, the hands-on learning, the motor skills that these kids have to be able to sew in that kind of detail, it is just absolutely mind-blowing. It's not just that. Like, look at their gym. I don't think I know 15-year-olds that can do this. Like, that is crazy. These are just kids. They're literally 5, 6, 7 years old. Look at that. They're building a society of champions, a society of doers. And honestly, I really do believe that in North America, we need to start looking at what they're doing in their education system, because in 100 years, they're going to surpass us in every single measure. There's no way they're more than 3, 4 years old. Have you ever seen a kid with this type of motor skills? I've never seen anyone at that age be able to do that and have that type of like hand-eye coordination. Like, look at the things that they're teaching them. It's all hands-on training. It's all useful stuff. And I'm going to show you some cooking videos, like the cooking that they're doing. They're teaching them everything from the beginning. Look, they're starting them at such a young age. It is unbelievable. It is. This is honestly probably one of my new favorite accounts right now. This is one of those like cute little like Barbie ovens or anything like that. Like this is the real deal. Like they're cooking food. They're learning how to actually cook. Like this is honestly incredible. This is the type of stuff that our schools need to be doing. Like why are we not doing even half of this stuff? Our education system needs a complete reform. We need to start showing society things that are useful, things that will make kids successful. Laying bricks? Like, this is I've never been taught this ever in my life. It is unreal. Like, I could just keep going on and on about how honestly unbelievable this is. Kindergarten. These are kindergarten kids. I wouldn't even know where to begin how to do this. Like, and I'm an adult. I'm in my mid-40s. I'm a middle-aged man. And these kids have more skills than I do. Like, look at this. It is just amazing. Anyways, I tried to compile some of the best of everything that I've seen, and it's absolutely astonishing.
If you all want to see fewer iPad babies, you are going to have to increase your tolerance for childish nonsense outside in the world, okay? If you don't want to see little kids, toddlers on their iPads at dinner, then you're going to have to accept the fact that for a while they're going to be loud, obnoxious, even, disruptive to what you at a separate table are up to. And I know y'all are going to be like, okay, but kids should learn how to act in public before you take them out in public. But kids can't learn how to behave in public unless they're in public getting those experiences. And that learning curve is going to be inconvenient and uncomfortable for you. Yeah, sure, children need to know how to eat at the dinner table, without making a ruckus. You're absolutely correct. And maybe they can do that at home, but outside at a restaurant with other people, with things that they're not familiar with somebody coming to talk to them periodically, like whatever it is, can get a kid excited. And unless they're out there getting that experience on a regular basis, they're going to be loud and rowdy and obnoxious, at least a little bit. And yes, some people give their babies an iPad so that they can have, a moment of peace. And that's a separate conversation. But a lot of parents give their kids an electronic to shut them up, to save themselves from the shame and embarrassment and the glares from other people who are now upset with their kid for reacting like a kid in public. If every single time your baby cries or screams or laughs too loud, somebody glares at you and says you should have left your kid at home if they don't know how to behave, you're going to do everything in your power to get them to be quiet. And sometimes that's just handing them an electronic. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's a reality of the situation. We will continue to see more iPad babies as long as parents are shamed for letting their kids behave like regular kids in public. So until you increase your tolerance for children just behaving like children, even if it's inconvenient, you're going to see iPad babies. There's not really a way around it.
Let's talk about reading, because here's where the gap gets really wide. Chinese kindergartens place a high priority on literacy, even before primary school begins. Kids learn thousands of Chinese characters by the time they hit first grade. They're encouraged to read physical books, write their own names, recite poems, and engage in memory games that strengthen cognitive development. Now contrast that with the average American iPad kid, who often can't hold a pencil properly at age 5. Because why would they? Siri does the spelling. YouTube reads to them. Tablets don't just reduce their desire to read, they replace it. And the worst part? It's not just reading. It's the whole learning process. Reading requires patience, focus, imagination. But watching Cocomelon? It just requires a finger swipe and 5-second attention spans. We're creating a generation that scrolls but doesn't absorb, that hears but doesn't listen. And it's starting in kindergarten.
Check this out. At first you thought, okay, maybe a couple of kids had a special talent, but no. What does China got going on? They're teaching kindergartners extra fine motor skills. Is this innocent jump rope mastery for kids, or are they training future super soldiers?
This is so wild. Chinese kindergarten students outpacing their American counterparts because of activities like math and music and language. Look at that. The 4-year-olds are mastering multiplication tables, learning Mandarin, English, and sometimes a third language, while American kids are even struggling with basic letter recognition at the same age. The disparity arises because Chinese education prioritizes discipline and intellectual rigor, where American systems lean towards play-based leisure learning. If we don't demand more from our kids, they're going to just continue to fall behind on the global stage. They're going to be ill-equipped to compete in a world driven by innovation and skill. It is rough out there. It is rough out there for anybody who has kids. Even at a young age, I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but our American kids, we need to grind them harder. Make them have fun, but they need to be learning more. Stop the TV, stop the phone shit, stop the video game shit. Let's go!
You want me to take your iPad away?
No!
Okay, well, it's time for bed.
No! Not going to bed!
Come
No!
on. Come on.
No! I'm not ready to go to bed.
Come on, I gave you an extra hour.
I said, no, it's not time for bed. Chill out. It's 9 o'clock. I am 12 years old. Stop treating me like a baby.
Let's
I'm
go.
not going to bed. We're not going to bed. Can you hear her?
Kids disrespecting their parents, man, I don't do that. I don't do that at all. I would have to sit down and explain to these kids why that ain't cool, yelling at your parents. You know what I mean? The good book say you shorten your life, you disrespect your parents, so that ain't gonna fly with me.
This entire issue goes beyond schools. It's rooted in cultural values. In China, there's a deep societal belief that discipline equals freedom. Children are taught that responsibility leads to independence. They are treated as capable individuals from a young age, and education is seen as the pathway to national strength. In contrast, America's parenting culture has become one of instant gratification. Tired toddler? Here's an iPad. Won't eat veggies? Distract them with YouTube. It's not just tech, it's the mindset that children can't be challenged and that screen time is harmless. But the long-term results are showing. Chinese kids enter first grade with confidence, structure, and basic real-world skills. American kids enter first grade emotionally fragile, overstimulated, and struggling with foundational development. This isn't about blaming parents. Many are doing their best. But it's about recognizing a broken system, a culture of convenience that's failing the next generation.
Do not. So what would I have done and what have I done in the past? Because let me tell you something, no child wants to act like this. First thing, you can get rid of your punishments and rewards. They are not going to work. He's not acting this way because he wants to be difficult. No child in the world wants to act like this. Look at his face. He looks miserable. But when we never get to the root of why these behaviors are happening and we just punish and punish and punish, especially if we're seeing behaviors like this, we are just putting band-aids on a bullet wound. I would have intervened immediately with the communication delay. I would have given him skills and strategies to get his thoughts and his feelings and his needs across so that his frustration wasn't always here. So that I wasn't constantly in a power struggle with a toddler. I would have understood what is going on with his body, what is overwhelming this child, why are the behaviors coming about, what skills is he lacking that is causing him to act like this. And then I would have implemented strategies to help him to gain those skills and tools to cope and regulate. I would have created a safe place in our home for him to go to do that. There was a scene in this episode where the boy's sitting in the mom's lap and she's rocking him and she's sobbing and she said, I just am so scared that he doesn't know he's loved because everybody is always so cross with him. No child wants to be the kid that nobody likes. If we force a kid into compliance by punishment, but we don't give them skills and strategies, what's going to happen when they grow up and nobody's standing over their shoulder anymore? And they never got those tools to cope. A lot of people look at behaviors like this and say this is why gentle parenting will never work. But if anything, this is an indication that kids like this need respectful parenting more. Because if anybody deserves to be met with patience and understanding, communication and connection, let it be the kids that are struggling with something that they don't understand yet and we can't see. A lot of people have dealt with big behaviors like this and feel like they have nobody that they can turn to or talk to without judgment. But if you are seeing behaviors like this, you do not have a bad kid and you are not a bad parent. We just got to figure out what the struggle is, and I hope that helps.
I am working and living in China right now, and here are my conversations with one of the people that work at the factory in regards to childcare. All right, it's like 6:30. We should probably leave the showrooms and head back because we're pretty far out right now. Oh yeah, let's get a taxi, but I have to go pick up my kid first from school because it's pretty late, and then head back to get my car. I'm sorry, pick up your kid? It's gonna be like 7 o'clock when we get there to the school. Like, is she still at school right now at 7 o'clock? Oh yeah, she's just doing her homework and like hanging at the after school care and eating there or whatever. It's pretty common here. There's actually kids that are gonna be there probably later than when I pick her up because, you know, like parents have to work. It's pretty common in China. Oh, okay. Is it like a private school or like something, you know, do you pay extra for that? No, I mean, it's normal because like people have to work, and if the kids can be picked up at the time that classes end, they just go into the daycare section. It's pretty standard across China. Like that's what they do. Oh, I grew up in Canada. If my parents weren't there, right, like 30 minutes after school ended to pick me up, the teachers would yell at me and be upset. And also, like, after school care is really expensive, so not everyone can afford it. So kids would often go and like hang out at the mall or something, or like try to go and hang out at another friend's place. But the teachers are paid to take care of you, so they got to make sure that they're there taking care of you and the kids until your parents come back.
Chinese kindergarten cooking class.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna get me canceled on here. This is a standard anywhere else in the world, but in America. I teach children on the side as like part of a hobby that I have. American children are like so far behind when it comes to like regular skills to have. They can't even answer like basic questions like, "What's your name, sweetie?" "What's your name, honey?" And then I'll have children from like different cultures who are fully able to have full-on conversations, do regular basic skills. I don't know why in America we teach children so late. Like we really underestimate children's ability to learn. Like it's not, I promise you, supervised, they are capable of mighty things.
Here's the big question. What are we preparing our children for? Because while Chinese kids are being trained to lead, innovate, and care for themselves, American iPad kids are being trained to consume content. Other nations are starting to pay attention. Singapore, South Korea, even parts of Europe are adopting China-style early education models that emphasize life skills, low screen exposure, and emotional regulation. Meanwhile, the US continues to drift toward tech dependence and developmental stagnation. The result? We're witnessing a widening global gap, not just in education, but in future potential. China isn't just beating America in AI, infrastructure, and trade. They're winning the parenting war too. And the battleground starts in preschool. This topic hit a little too close to home, didn't it? If you found yourself thinking, wow, maybe we are raising iPad zombies, don't worry. Change starts with awareness. Share this video. Talk to other parents. Advocate for real childhood again, one that's screen-free, skill-rich, and future-ready. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more videos that challenge the system and open your eyes. Until next time, put down the iPad, pick up a book, and hug a preschool teacher. Adios, besties.